pre-lunch session. Okay, from use cases, user stories, traceability matrix, I am trying to take you all the way away into strategy, operations, tactical lines of strategy, and so on. Okay? So whatever I'm trying to talk to you is the viewpoint from a practitioner. All of us are practitioners. It's not anything that has been published in a book or it's been discussed upon in the past. It's my own view, plus some inputs that I've got from my colleagues and people that have worked with me. So I request you, as practitioners, to comment, to criticize, to modify, add whatever views that I'm presenting to you. What I expect from you is a totally interactive session, and stop me wherever you feel that there is something that needs to be added to whatever I'm saying. Okay? So that's the rules of the game. And having said that, look at the topic. It says business strategy and business analysis, two sides of the same coin, also called as project success, project, program, whatever success. Because success of the project is very close to our heart, very important. That's where our bread and butter lie. Strategy is, in the morning, Ramesh also was discussing about it. Strategy is not an area where we have successfully gone into. There are pockets of influence and brilliance, but predominantly, we have been restricting ourselves to playing the role of a business analyst, the back-end boy, right? Not on the front-ending person. Of course, there are specific instances like an implementation of a product or gathering requirement in the customer space, et cetera, where we do play a customer-facing role. We do a certain amount of collecting or facing the customer. But that doesn't take us into the exalted area of strategic discussions and defining strategy for the business enterprise as a whole. Can we do it? Do we do it? We don't, excepting for a few areas. Can we do it? Yes, we can. How? That's what I'm trying to convey to you. There are three letters here, three terminologies here: strategy, analysis, business strategy, business analysis, and the project success. Most of us know what is business analysis, and most of us also would know what is project success. So what is business strategy? What do you think is business strategy? Can someone help me, please? I said interactive. Something, okay. Okay, great. You have a goal. You know what the goal is, and you also define the pathway to reach that goal. That's what you are saying as strategy. Any other view, please? Organizations plan to succeed in the market. Success is the goal. What is success? Is it financial success? What do you mean by success? Sorry, I am behaving like a BA, but what is success? Financial goal, okay? Can financial goal only be the strategy for a company? Anybody? Yes? Vision of the company, okay. What is vision? Objective, she said that, right? So the goal, what do you want to do, right? As a company that is in existence, what exactly you plan to do, what exactly you plan to achieve. Financial goals are very important, yes, one of them. There may be many more, right? So Metro Rail Corporation, Namma Metro in Bengaluru, it cannot have only financial goals. Agree? Agree or disagree? Yes. Yes. So the objectives differ, but there is a strategy that defines the goal and objective of a business that is in existence. Okay? Fine. So I tried to look it up. what exactly we mean by strategy. All of us know, we have a hazy idea of what strategy is all about. So I went into the grandfather of business management, the Harvard Business Review, and then got some inputs, modified it a little bit to suit our today's discussion part. Yeah, let's look at this first before we get into serious discussions. The guy here, Dilbert, assumed that it's a business analyst. He's a business analyst, and the person is the strategist or the CEO of the company. He has a strategy, and this gentleman, the business analyst, is expected to work in a way that they reach the strategy, the goal. It's said in lighter vein, right? So as a business analyst, we should not be caught in such a situation. Neither does the CEO of the company know what the business strategy is, nor the business analyst is aware of what the business strategy is, and both of them are trying to push the organization to reach a goal which they are not aware of, right? So depending on the way that you look at it, depending upon the angle that you look at it, the strategy can have multiple elements. Harvard Business Review defines it as 4. Vision and mission. One of our colleagues said that, vision and mission. And the network. Network is predominantly stakeholders from our viewpoint, business analysis viewpoint. And execution, the way that we execute the project, execute the program, and how do we measure the success, what are the risk factors, and so on and so forth. So these are all very close to our hearts. So we know much of the execution portion of it, less of the vision and mission. We need to get there, the exalted area of defining the vision and mission. Okay. Now let's look at the Babok defined 6 areas of the areas which Babok defines as predominantly required, the competencies required for a business analyst to perform well as a business analyst. Okay, these are the six one: the planning and management, elicitation and collaboration, requirements lifecycle management, strategy analysis, analysis and design definition of requirements, and evaluation of the solution. Look at all of this. So the Babok has been published. Babok version 3 has been published by inputs given by many of us, many of the practitioners. So all these practitioners have something in mind when they say this, right? Planning and management. This is predominantly project focused or a program focused. But if you look at it, planning and management of what? Can somebody tell me? Planning and management of what? Project? Yes? Business activity? Okay. Anybody else? Planning and management of enterprise? Enterprise? Okay. Planning and management of resources? Do you think that it is part of BA's role, or it's a project manager that does the resource management predominantly as of today in the business model? Requirements? Okay. Elicitation and collaboration. What do we mean by that? We all know that, most of us at least. Requirements elicitation. Yeah. Life cycle management. What is requirements life cycle management? There is one elicitation and collaboration, there is a life cycle management. Okay, great. Is change management part of that? Okay. So what is strategy analysis? There is a word strategy once again appearing here. What is it? Any idea? Okay. Whether it is in alignment with the overall business strategy. Okay. So requirements analysis and design definition. What is that? You again requirements analysis. You have a life cycle management here, and there is an analysis here, and you also you define the design of the solution itself, right? There is a specific knowledge area. And solution evaluation. Is it testing? Anyone? Is solution evaluation testing? Yes? No? What is it? Yeah? Feasibility. Somebody else was saying something here? Okay. Okay. All right. So all of you are right. The bits and pieces of all of it put together give you the correct answer. So now let's see how is it mapping to the strategy that we talked about, the definition given by the Harvard Business School. Planning and management is part of execution. Agree or disagree? Okay. Anything else can be there? We talked about 4. Execution is one of them. Network, that is the stakeholder management. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Okay, thanks. So elicitation collaboration, I believe it is value, network, and vision. Am I correct? Or do you have a different view? Value network is predominantly stakeholder analysis. Vision is how the execution is going to happen using the resources from the company. Using the resources. So elicitation and collaboration, because there is predominantly you are going to work with the stakeholders, it's value network, and also vision, because you are going to use the resources of the company from your own company and that of the stakeholders, right? So in the life cycle management, it is again execution. Anything else can be there? Any view? I want him to answer this question, the person who is smiling and talking to the other. Can you tell me? You? No? Okay. So I believe it's execution. There can be many more. Strategy analysis is mission and vision. Okay? Strategy analysis predominantly mission and vision. And requirements analysis and design definition, once again, is mission and vision, maybe a little bit of value network also. Little bit of it. Yeah? Execution also? Okay. Any differing view? Execution is part of requirements analysis and design definition. Okay. So solution evaluation. Again, value network and vision. Anything else can be there? Or am I wrong there? Any response, any view? Okay. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely right. Very right. You have bits and pieces of every single strategic activity in every single knowledge area of business analysis. That's what I'm trying to say. You got it very right. So it may not be purely execution on requirements lifecycle management. There may be other knowledge areas that may come in there, right? So willy-nilly, the business analyst is playing a role of a strategist without even his realizing it. That's what I'm trying to convey here. Are you in agreement? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, thanks. So let's look at the, this is the inference that I derived out of this analysis. The 6 knowledge areas and 6 core concepts of business analysis, the Babok version 3.0, it gets applied to all the elements of strategic elements in a project. All the elements, right? Something here, something there, something more here, something less here, and so on and so forth. But still, all the knowledge areas are part of your strategic approach, a business strategic enterprise approach that you define for the company. Okay? You want to reach the goal. I gave you the example of Namma Metro. What could be the objective of Namma Metro? Goal, the strategic goal. What would be that? Yeah? To reduce traffic congestion. Okay? Good connectivity, faster connectivity, enhance the mobility. Yes? Transportation. Okay? Pollution-free transport. Yes? Anything else? I remember it was something like this when Delhi Metro was launched. An economic mode of transportation, economic mode of comfortable transportation for the public. That's all. Economic mode for whom? For the public, not for metro. So, by the way, they also make profits. All right? So, how that particular objective is mapped to each of these? That's a public organization. Namma Metro or Delhi Metro, that's a public organization. Every strategy that is defined by every business unit will have a business analyst knowledge area applicable into it, at least one, if not more. Agreed? Whether it's a public utility company or you are implementing a solution for a bank or you are designing a solution for a retail industry, whatever, the strategic unit, the strategic objective will always dovetail into the knowledge areas of business analysis as defined by BABOK. Okay? This is the inference, interesting inference I got. Though all of us knew it, at one point or the other, we would have been doing it, but it gave me an opportunity to really look at Okay, there was a question yesterday on whether IIBA is focusing only on the strategic area of business analysis, and it is ignoring the operational stuff, right? So the previous session was all about operational stuff, right? Your use cases, user stories, requirement traceability matrix, and agile methodology, and so on and so forth. So as far as the IT industry is concerned. Now, looking at the strategy, once again, it's borrowed, not mine. There are 3 levels of strategy, 3 distinct areas or levels. One is the top level, that is strategic, policy decisions, decisions that impact the long-term goals of the organization. We talked about the metro, so long-term objective, right? Providing an economic, viable, comfortable transportation between point A to point B. Right? So that's the long-term policy decision. And generally it is the top level, top management that takes care of that. They comes out with such decisions. No, nowadays the strategy itself is designed grounds up. It's attempted by many companies, including the company where I work. The second is the tactical level. It is done by mid-level managers, mostly the managers at the business unit level. They take care of what these objectives are, how it is defined. The Dilbert was one of them. You saw the gentleman that you were forgetting to understand what the objective was. Mid-level, medium term, and it's less complex. You have defined goals, objectives for your business unit or particular period, so you know what to do. And there are lower level, like a teller in the bank, to pass the check, not to pass the check, is the signature mapping the one that is lodged with the system. These are all lower level, operational level decisions. So these three levels have three distinct angles and three distinct type of people that take the decision day in and day out. And do we, as a business analyst, do we get involved in such decision making? Do we get involved at all in helping the organization take such decisions? We may not take the decisions, but we help the organization take such decisions. Do we? So I came up with an interesting matrix here. A 3x3 matrix. What I've tried to do here is try to map the business strategy at the vertical line and business analysis at the horizontal line. Okay, all of them divided into the strategic area, the tactical area, and the operational area. So for business analysis, these three blocks mean operational, these three blocks mean tactical, these three blocks mean strategic. Whereas for the strategy, these three blocks mean strategic, these three tactical, and these three operational. So this is what I try to map the kind of the business analysis skills, the competencies to that of the business strategy that is adopted at the three levels: the strategic, operational, and the tactical level. One area that I struggled to cope was this. Let me read out from the top left. This is strategic for business analysts and strategic for business strategy. Innovation, I believe it would be a strategic approach for both for business analysts and business strategists. Do you agree? Any disagreement? Any other view? Sorry, I think something happened. Sorry, one second. Yeah, sorry, please go on. Yes. So who gives the go-ahead? Absolutely, you are absolutely right. But do we play a role there? That's what I'm trying to come to, right? So we do play all of these roles, the strategic roles, the tactical roles, the operational roles, which we have been doing in any case. So what I'm trying to imply here is we have been doing it all along, and we should graduate ourselves and get into that area because this is there what we are doing. I'll come to that later. So I'll come to that. I have one slide on that. I'll come to that later. Okay, so now I'm saying enterprise analysis, stakeholder analysis, end customer value analysis, etc., are strategic for both at the strategic level and at the business analysis level. And at the tactical level, I'm saying project risk analysis, monitoring, product positioning, resource management, and all those tactical areas where the local business unit leaders are involved, the business analysts are also involved, are all part of tactical. And there is one that is tactical strategic solution evaluation. I believe solution evaluation for a business analyst is very strategic, right? It is not tactical, it is not operational, because solution evaluation is very critical for the success of the project, right? And when you look at the operational, requirement analysis, writing use cases, user stories, multiple operational level stuff, it is operational both for the strategic level and at the operational level. You don't see the CFOs and CXOs of the organization coming and talking to you about the requirements. They give you one-liner objective, right? It is up to the business analyst, the business unit leaders within the organization to drill it down, bring it into micro areas where you can create this requirement documentation and so on. So this is operational for both. Now, one point that I have been struggling is on the project financial analysis and the project return on investment. Yeah. Yeah. That is strategy. Could you hear him? Yeah? Any views? What he's saying is that, could you repeat that, please? I don't want to steal your words.
So product positioning, to me, is it's a very strategic thing. How you project your product in the marketplace is very important. For example, we know what happened with Nano for Tata Motors, and it was positioned as now they know it shouldn't have been positioned like that, but it can affect the entire organization. So it is strategic, in my opinion.
Okay. Product positioning is
just
strategic.
My opinion.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Of course. This is an area where all of us have opinions and views, and it'll never be frozen, and as the time changes, some of it will move up, some of it will move down. So product positioning, according to him, is a strategic area for business strategy or business analysis, or for both. Okay. Any other view? I think that the exact point that he also made. So what he mentioned was that the positioning of the Nano car was strategically wrong. So whatever smart tactical things that you adopted, or the operational sales and other sales promotion, etc., that you adopted, still the product failed because the strategy itself was wrong. I think you are making the same point. Course, yeah, of course. See, this is only a viewpoint, right? How practical that? How are you going to apply that in practice is depending upon the company's policies, processes, the kind of goals that they want to achieve, and so on and so forth. For him, product positioning is very, very strategic, right? For me, it may not be, because I may not be in the product business. A product manager will think product positioning is very, very strategic for his existence. It may not be for me. As a business analyst, it's tactical. He says something, okay, fine, I'll do whatever that is required. I'll create some mediums, I'll create some advertisements or whatever material that are required. So it becomes very tactical and operational for me, right? Views differ. The way that you look at it, the vantage position that you are in, and then you look at it, you will have different views. But what I'm trying to imply here is from the viewpoint of a business analyst. I'm trying to look at it from the viewpoint of the business analyst, not from the view of the tactical managers in a business unit or the chief executive officer of a business unit. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. So coming back to my point, I was struggling here. The project financial analysis and project return on investment. Certainly, this is a strategic area for the strategic people, the business strategists, the CEOs of the world. Is it important for a business analyst? Do we do any financial analysis as a part of our documentation? Yes? You do? What kind of financial analysis? Do you create a return on investment, payback period, or a? Okay.
Realization, we basically look at the value realization path, at which milestones, which toll gates, and then we actually track it on behalf of business working with delivery partners. A delivery partner could be an ITBA working with us. A delivery partner could be an operations team or a corporate real estate team setting up a new building for us. So it's beyond IT.
Okay. So
we
what
do
else?
keep on tracking the ROI, and the window has now been shortened from around 18 to 20 months of tracking to 6 to 8 months of tracking.
Oh, great. Beyond that, what else that you do?
So I think one thing which we also keep an eye out on is basically the changing dynamics, because at times our investments may not yield the kind of value we expected when we started the business case, because the competitive landscape has changed. Our internal expectations from that business service has changed, or the management expectations of return from the dollar spend has changed. So in addition to making the business case, tracking the revenues, we also look at the changing environment.
Okay. Okay. So I believe it is something akin to a project manager's office, program manager's office. Am I correct in stating that, or you any different view? Yeah.
I think the business analyst also has a role to play as far as those parameters, because the reason is that every business analyst would like to look at the business case for doing a project which the client would have thought about if he's an outsourcing company. Now, my point is that if the business analyst is not looking at the benefits which they want to deliver, how would the solution actually deliver those things? So, and that is the reason this is important for a business analyst also, and it can't be just swept away of, below the carpet saying that, oh, we don't have to think about it.
Okay.
And in fact, the maturity of an outsourcing company and its solution depends on a business analyst understanding this and doing the project.
Okay. Any differing views, please? Yeah.
As a business analyst, you're not concerned about, you are building a business case and business benefits. You're not concerned about the ROI, whether it's going to be a return on investment. That is something that I feel is the program management or a program manager's prerogative.
Okay.
So I think your point that some of these activities belong to a PMO world is perfectly valid. But I think her point is absolutely partially incorrect, because I don't think it's a program manager's job to basically track the ROI. It's a portfolio manager's job to track the ROI. The program manager works for a portfolio of change. Now, basically, your point that a PMO should be doing some of these activities is absolutely bang on. But the BA, to his point, needs to be on top of the changing business priorities, because the requirements that were set out had to meet a certain business objective and certain value returns for the business. So you need to be into the thick of things. Whether you do that physically as a part of your day-to-day job or a PMO does it is a different matter altogether.
Okay. Fine. Fine. You are saying something, yeah.
The role of enterprise architects is evolving, and they do many of these things in terms of business cases and monitoring. And so what we are saying as to how far does a BA go into the strategic area, I think he needs to look at the enterprise architect document to know how the alignment should be. So he may not himself have to stretch himself so much to understand the strategic area. That's why that middle, and particularly in companies which are end user companies, not the software developers, I think they have this practice which they need. So the enterprise architect is a combination of strategy aligner, monitoring of benefits that they are getting, and of course, advisor to the technical team. So.
Okay. You have some point, yeah.
I just have one comment. I think still in most of the projects, the BAs are kind of subordinate to the PMs, right? So in some way, I think with experience, And somehow, if organizations build some ecosystem, unless we emerge out of that, right, I don't think the PMs will really allow us to operate in the area of, ROIs and, selecting what's to be, what project is to be picked up. I don't think, I don't see that happening at all as of now, and until something, dramatically changes that. So maybe views are welcome from you and everybody.
Were you listening to the conversation? Yeah, I'll give it to you, one sec. Listening to the conversation that we had with Ramesh, right? So he was mentioning about the ecosystem change, right? Were you there in that session? You were there, okay, fine. Yeah,
Yeah, when you are on site and all, sometimes, and when the add-on requirements come and all, that time not exactly the financial, because they're like client is charging you for a per day and all. So based on the requirement, you usually give what is the mandate efforts is required as a business analyst. So that can impact as one of the financial
okay.
of a project.
Anything else? Any other view?
Yeah, I have a view.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
where?
Towards your left.
Okay,
Yeah, I have a very similar opinion as what he's got, because when you propose a solution, the first thing that as a BA I consider is three things: the money, the authority, and the need for an enterprise. Your solution, does it address, does the enterprise have the money to spend on your solution? Do you have the right person to approach who can, give you the authority to go ahead with your approach? And the last thing is the need. So all these three things are interdependent, and money is very important, because in most of the SOWs we are involved in proposing our, in the solution which we propose, what is the commercials involved? How many man days, what are the resources we need? So I think definitely financials have to be considered for a business analyst,
okay,
as a competency.
okay, great. Yeah, that stopped.
End of the day, it is our responsibility to give a client a solution, be it an outsourcing company or whatever. My viewpoint is that, when things go right, everyone wants credit for, as a BA, as a project manager and stuff like that. When things go wrong, we are finding blames, the business analyst failed or the project manager failed. I feel that many a times the project managers do not understand the business case, because the domain knowledge and other things are maybe not as good as the business analyst has. Secondly, a project management has dual responsibilities. If he's in an outsourcing companies, on one side he has the responsibility of cost, execution and deliveries pressures, and he's not looking into the business case. Whereas the business analyst is focusing purely on the requirements, on the solution, and he understands how this would match the business case. And that is why it is important that the financials be looked into it. Otherwise, it's like one more project on fire.
Okay, so the consensus is that the return on investment or anything related to the financial analysis, both of them should move into this quadrant. Is that right? That's what most of us believe. There may be still differing views. I still have a different view on that, but okay. So how many of us actually play a part in actually deciding what is going to be the return on investment for a large program? Has any of our BAs played a role there? Of course, we do look at the documents. We are shared the documents. This is the return on, we expect in 3 years payback period, or we want not less than 5% internal rate of return, whatever. All kinds of data and information is given to us, and then we are expected to map that, and of course, with the help of the program or project manager or enterprise manager that you were saying. So that happens. But are you playing that role? Are you defining the return on investment? If we invest $100 million on the Namma Metro project, do we decide on 2% shall be the rate of return, irrespective of whatever is the internal rate of return? Do we have that? Do we play that role? No? Yeah?
ideation phase. And that phase basically then gives enough output which then feeds a business case. So our BAs now basically wear a dual hat, which is basically a consultant's hat from a strategy perspective, which then percolates down to whether that change makes any sense for the organization or not. They do a level 0 kind of a cost-benefit analysis, and an ROI is obviously known at that time because the organization has competing demands for the same dollar, right? Especially given the regulation, the regulatory pressures that are eating a lot of those dollars spent that an organization can spend on change. So our BAs, the more senior ones, have started doing that role, and it's not prevalent in the Indian industry, but it's very unique to us. And these guys then basically own the business case for business as well, get it through the approval board, the finance board, and then basically start the high-level requirements around the solution before.
Okay.
So it's very differentiated, but in pockets I've started seeing that happening, where now we are basically becoming partners to the business and basically also helping them take some decisions, because this BA would basically be talking to the finance team. The finance team says, well, if you want to spend an X amount of dollars, the organization wants a return of Y on this. So unless you can justify a yield of this much, this project will not even stack up in the order book prioritization. So some of our BAs are wearing that hat now, but it's not a run-of-the-mill thing. But this is the evolution that I've seen from the project BAs to initiation BAs. So in our shop, we don't even do any IT now.
Oh, okay.
If I want to do IT, I go to my another shop of HSBC that does software delivery, and they have their BAs who basically.
What are they called? Are they called still business analysts?
So our team is now started to be called the transformation team. The business transformation team.
Okay.
So we have multiple teams in HSBC now. There is a business analysis team which supports technology change, but they work for us, which is the transformation owners. And some of our BAs have actually gone to that stage where actually business comes to them and say, we have an X dollar to spend. These are the 5 kind of engagements we can work on. Why don't you help us prioritize? So I've
Very
seen
interesting.
that change happen.
Very interesting. This is, yeah.
See, there is a difference when you work for an outsourcing company like a Cambridge Technology Partners and Infosys Technologies. When I was initially working with Cambridge Technology Partners, one of the things which we used to do is that we were involved in the return on investment. And the reason for that being, and that was primarily at the solution definition or at the pre-sales piece itself. And that is essential because that would be a differentiator when you are trying to scout for new work from any client. And if the business analyst, so what I found is that traditionally outsourcing companies didn't have a solution architect or a business analyst involved in pitching for solutions, which was a problem. Maybe they would be doing it now. But when the companies, some of the strong American companies like the Accentures or the Cambridge Technology Partners, when they involved a business analyst, they made this as a difference in the solution when they pitched to the client. So I would say, yes, this is important. And the other angle to this point is that a lot of us in the outsourcing companies are getting work from consultants who have already defined the strategy. And we are not entering into that area.
Yep.
But if we get into this domain as a business analyst, this opens our way to move forward in the consulting.
Yeah, that opens up lots and lots of opportunities for the BA as a community. Right? That's an area that we have been not entering into, not missing for whatever reasons. Right? We have not been getting there. So that's what the point that I was trying to make. Okay, so couple of slides more, and what's the time check, please? How many more minutes? 15 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay. So most of us are in agreement with whatever I have stated, but it will change over a period of time. We'll get new views and new ideas, and markets will change. So this matrix itself will change. It's my view. Okay, so all right. So let's look at what do you mean by project success? Can anyone define project success typically from the IT industry point of view? Yeah? Could you give the mic to him, please? I can't hear from here. Client satisfaction. Okay. Anything else? Is it the typical way that we define a success of a project as it exists today? Desired outcomes are met. What are those desired outcomes?
Which have been stated as part of your planning and other things.
Okay, what could they be?
Basically, meeting the solutions which will benefit the users at large.
Okay, fine. So what about the triage that we always talk about in the project management area? The cost, time, resources. Typically, that's what we say, right? When we say that you are in a position to complete a project within the estimated cost, estimated timelines, within whatever resources that are available to you, it may be financial, it may be others, then you are success. The project is a success. I was looking up, this is a mantra that I was, when I started my career in the IT, that was what the mantra was, right? So I was looking up one of the research studies that was published by Gartner. I modified it a little bit here, but this is what they said. After talking to many end users, not just the service providers, end users, the predominantly 4 or 5 points came into focus as the elements or measurements of success for a project. The financial success, of course, the business unit, HSBC would love to have the imaging of the check to be completed in 2 months' time so that all their corporate customers can come in and then they can charge the 0.25 paise extra for each of the checks. So you need to have the financial success and you need to have the transformational success. You call it business proposition, value proposition, whatever. So you move from manual kind of way of doing things into digitized world of doing things. So interestingly, way back, we did a project for one of the software distributors in Indonesia. You know what? The success that they measured, the success was because the software, the bottle distribution, soft drinks distribution, it has predominantly done through cash, right? You deliver to a small shop and that person pays you in cash. The aim of that company was to reduce the cash in the transactions, period. No return on investment, nothing about the speed of delivery, nothing about management of the inventory, no. Reduce the cash in the transactions, that's it. That was the objective, right? That is transformational. We didn't do that, we failed to do that, let me admit. But that was the transformational expectation, that was there years ago. Now it would have been possible with the mobile and other kinds of technology available to us. The quality, of course, no question about it, quality. What do we define as quality? It varies from company to company, business unit to business unit, but quality is always paramount for everybody. And the third is on the governance. What do we mean by governance? Any idea? Yeah? Okay? Your policies, processes, procedures, communication protocol, engagement protocol, who talks to whom, when is the report submitted, all that, the entire stuff is governance. So any very tightly controlled governance is expected to be one of the parameters that will measure the success of the project. And risk. What is risk again? It's a huge thing, right? Risk is a very, very huge word which has multiple connotations, different connotations for different people. So predominantly, what is the risk for a project manager or a business analyst? Yes? Unforeseen circumstances, okay?
Manage my business risk better. I think in terms of success or outcomes of a project, my risk objectives will not be the project risk objectives. So I think what he's talking about is more of project risk. But I would say this risk is basically a business side of the risk.
Okay.
So if I've reduced risk in running my operations or business today, and that was another success or the objectives of that project, I would say succeeded if my risk is now, from certain elements which were in red earlier is now basically in green. Or I'm able to manage an expanded business or a faster turnaround of certain activities with reduced risk. or at
Okay.
the same risk?
Yeah, sure. So the success varies from the type of project to the other project, from the type of program to the other program, from the type of CEO to the other CEO, right? And so on. So that the risk is, once again, is a huge word that connotes different things for different people. I'm trying to map, once again, the project success to the business analyst knowledge areas, okay? So look at this. Oh my God. The strategy analysis, I would say, strategies analysis, planning, monitoring will all form part of the financial area, okay? These 5 parameters was brought out by Gartner after research, right? There were many more. When they talked to program managers, they had many more, which were not very relevant for our study. So I just picked up 5 of them. The transformational is strategy analysis, requirement analysis. Under quality, solution evaluation, life cycle management. Under governance, elicitation, collaboration, and at risk, strategy analysis, and so on. What I'm trying to imply here is, it is not that the business analysis maps upwards into the strategic area, it also maps downwards into the project success area. So business analysis sits in between the strategy and the project success or a program success, right? You have to play, as business analyst, you have to play a very critical role in managing both ends of the spectrum. You have to manage the strategy area, the tactical area, the operational area. You also have to manage the project success. That is the kind of the role that is coming into the picture in the current economic and industrial scenario. A business analyst is not a business analyst that sits at the back and writes requirements, writes traceability matrix, writes use cases, etc., which he does, which he has to do, but that is not the only expectation from him. Multiple other roles are evolving. You were mentioning, very interestingly, HSBC has a role that has evolved, right? They would have tried many methods, many trials and errors, and they would have hit upon this idea. A person with knowledge of the business, a person knowledge of the business analysis will be the right or appropriate person to do the financial analysis and the enterprise analysis as well, right? That would have been the decision that HSBC would have taken. That's what I'm trying to imply here. So I have just 3 more minutes. Okay, to conclude, whatever I was saying, business analysis as well as strategy deals with achievement of futuristic goals by analyzing the present. Some of it my own words, some of it I borrowed from somebody else. Business analysis as well as strategy deals with achievement of futuristic goals by analyzing the present. Agreed? Yes? You want to understand what is the end state, you know what is the current state, how do you reach there? What are the various parameters that you need? What are the various support systems that you need? What are the various tools, techniques, processes, people, stakeholders, and everything that is there in the ecosystem that a business analyst is expected to know, okay? And they become the 2 sides of the coin, right? The project success, just with business analysis, you will not be able to succeed in a project. Just with strategy, you will not be able to succeed in a project. You need both. And both of them in unison, in collaborating, without one side trying to overshadow the other. It has to be there as equal partners. Okay? So they define the path, arrange the tools, process, technologies, techniques, be it a product or a process in their own unique way. Strategy has its unique way. They have a set of policies, processes, tools, etc., to define the strategy for the enterprise. And business analysis also have something similar, different, sometimes different, sometimes similar. So they have to go hand in hand to make the project successful. Okay? So let me give you one brief example of from my own experience for a very, very large bank in one of the Western countries, where when we went to talk to him, talk to the president of the bank, he said, I want an online banking solution that will be better than my competitors. That's it, right? So it became on our shoulders, it became our responsibility to understand, first, who are his competitors, equal competitors, or who are his competitors in the online banking system, who are his competitors not in the country, elsewhere, that have solutions that, according to him, were better than his. Okay? Now, second, what are the features, functionalities of the online banking solution that was already there in the bank? And what are those features, the extra features and functionalities, right, that were given by the competitors of this particular bank? And then the CFO came into the picture. He says, great, I understand all of this, how much will it cost me? And the CTO came, how long it is going to take? I was fortunate to be in the ringside to play the role of a strategist, a business analyst, and an enterprise architect. So that gave me the idea that the business strategy, the one-liner strategy that was given by the president of that particular bank, very large bank, has to be transmitted at granular levels by none other than the 3 business analysts that were there. We mapped it without realizing that we are doing this successfully. Though we failed in the Indonesian case, in this case we failed. We succeeded in whatever the bank wanted, we completed. So this is one of the areas which I believe that as business analysts that we should graduate into. How do we do that? You heard Ramesh, you heard Ashish, you heard many other speakers. What kind of ecosystem changes that we require, what kind of support that we require from within, from external sources, from our own community, from our own organization. Okay? So with that, I leave it to you to think through this. And just to close with a bit of a humor, can you read this from the back? Can you read this? Or I will read for you. The 2 men, they are discussing perhaps about employment opportunity. There is an interviewer. He's trying to understand what the other person's profession is. The first question that he's asking is, can your occupation be easily described? The person says no. Okay. Can you have just one skill and perform your job? He says no. Are you dealing with just technology? This person says no. Can you describe your job in one sentence? He says no, I can't. Has your occupation been around for a long, long time? He says no, it's been there only for a few years now. It's been not been there for a long time. Are you just dealing with business or somebody else? He says, no, I deal with many. Oh, is it a well-defined path to get the skills to do your job? You know, there are processes, techniques, solutions, and external service providers that can tell you what exactly that you need to do to perform in your job well. He says, no. Then he hits upon the idea, oh, okay, you are a BA. So there is a hazy thing about what we do today, right? So we do lots of things. So we play the role of a requirement gatherer, we do documentation, we do the solutioning, we do all the user stories. We also do the engagement management. We also do, in the case of HSBC, we also do the strategy, et cetera, right? So what I'm trying to tell you here is, as a community, we must start moving into the direction higher up in the value chain. Once upon a time, I used to think solution architecting was the pinnacle for a business analyst. Not anymore. You know about the enterprise, your certification of a TOGAF or whatever that is equivalent, what it is, what the enterprise does, and you are done. Presto, you are there, arrived. Not anymore. we have the skills. We are doing it day in and day out as I try to map it and then show it to you. So let's all try and grow in our career. Let's try and reach to those areas where we have not stepped in, excepting for companies like HSBC or maybe a few more. Let's try and get to that place. With that, I stop my discourse on whatever I thought was appropriate. So as I said, this is only my view. There may be differing views that we heard. Many people came out with very brilliant ideas. So accordingly, I'll map it and then change it. So any other views, you can always reach out to me, and we can have a healthy discussion and take this forward. Thank you very much.